And welcome back to another video. So topic today is the holidays and what to buy for it. Now, do you go for the latest and greatest or do you do something different? So today, just give my thoughts and feelings and opinions on what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and what you should definitely stay away from. And first off, we'll tackle this next generation, the new generation that just came out last week. Now, do you go for the PlayStation 5, this monstrosity of a system that is it's sleek, it's fast, has some great first party exclusives, so great value in that aspect, but can you find it? That's the hard part this holiday. Or you go for the Xbox Series X, Series S, which are just as hard to find right now, but they don't have the console exclusives. They don't have really any brand new games that are only available on that, but they have a whole lot of backwards compatibility. They have the Xbox Game Pass, which gives you a plethora of games just right there at your fingertips for a very low monthly price. So what do you do? And to get this out of the way, for one, don't buy from a scalper. Don't buy from the scammers that are listing it for $1,000, $2,000. I think I saw a PlayStation 5 go for 3,000 on eBay. I mean, it is not worth it, people. It's not worth paying that much of a premium for a console that's not limited. It's not like it's going to go away and you're never going to be able to get one. It's not a exclusive item that only one place has. It's you're going to be able to get one. So don't feed into the beast. I mean, if you have the money and you don't care to spend that much, sure. And I do get it. Kids want a certain console. Your spouse might want a certain console that that's all the only thing they ask for. So obviously you want to get what they really want. But it's not worth that extra penny. I mean, there's nothing that they have where it's going to be it's going to be a must have that you're not going to get. So if you can, absolutely. If you can get to a regular store online where you can get just the system itself, you can get just the bundle like I did, then absolutely. Pay the 500 for the system or 6 or 7 with a bundle, get a couple games with it, and you're good to go. But don't buy one off. Don't want to buy one off eBay and basically reward the people that are taking it away from you and me that just want the new system. All right, but in the event that you can't get one of the new consoles, what do you do? So first off, the older consoles. Obviously, like I mentioned with the Xbox, they have no first-party exclusives, no brand new games that are only available on the new system. So you can get the Xbox One X or the Xbox One S, and you can still enjoy all the games that are available on the Series X. Obviously, you won't have the performance boost, the visual boost, that kind of thing, but you'll still get the games. So, if you don't have one, or if you do have one and you want to get the new Call of Duty, the Black Ops Cold War, you absolutely can. If you want to get the Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you can. It's all available to you, and that's a great feature. It's a great incentive, especially in this time frame where we're in the holidays and everything's going as quickly as it can get restocked. So good option there if you don't have one. They have so many games out there that for one are console exclusives, and they have the Xbox Game Pass, which is for the price tag. I believe it's $15 a month. I mean, that's a steal. You have so many games right at your fingertips, so you can get well, if you can't get the new system, you have that, or if you get the Xbox One, Xbox One X, and you get the Game Pass, you have literally 100 or more games right there available to you for one small low price. So great option there, great value. So definitely one to look for. Now on the Sony side, or in the event, or in the Nintendo side, you have the Nintendo Switch, which is still pretty hard to come by, but I still see them available. I saw one available at my local Walmart today. And for Sony, you have the PlayStation 4. If you can find an even older system, if you go to used game store, you have the PlayStation 3, the 2. Any of those. I mean, great systems. There are so many games. The PS4 has a huge library that you can still buy at almost any store. You still buy brand new games for whatever case may be, whatever type of game you want. You got the regular family friendly games. You've got shooters. You've got RPGs. Some of the story driven stuff. All phenomenal games, phenomenal value, and a lot to choose from. All right, but let's say you're not in all of that. You don't want to drop that pretty penny for, I believe, even a PS4 right now is still going for a couple $100 or $300, whatever the case may be, or any of the newer stuff, which is very expensive nowadays. But what do you do? Now, for a lot of them, you've seen them. A lot of you try to get them, and especially for some of the nostalgia factor is the classic consoles or the mini consoles. Now, some of these are hard to find. Some of them you can't find at all. Some are still readily available depending on where you look. And as always, scalpers and scammers are still trying to sell them at a premium, especially because these are limited edition and some of them they don't produce anymore. Now I'm talking about, the NES Classic. You've got the Super Nintendo Classic. You've got the PlayStation Classic, the Sega Genesis. I think they call it Classic, maybe the Sega Mini. I don't know. And you even have TurboGrafx 16 Mini, which definitely isn't as mini as the other consoles, but compared to the old system, it definitely is. So the thing I like about these mini consoles and these classic kind of throwback consoles is that the games that come with it, similar to the Xbox Game Pass, where it's like you buy one thing and you have a plethora of games to it. Most of these come preloaded between, I believe, I think the smallest one is 10, and then they go up to 20 or 30. I think the Sega Genesis even has 40 games on it. Now, for these, obviously, it's these classic consoles. So, the Sony PlayStation has PlayStation games on it, just regular PlayStation 1 games. The Sega Genesis, just regular Sega Genesis games. So it is ones that some people like the older games. Some people like playing the older ones. Some people, especially if they're getting for their kids, the kids may not like some of these older stuff. But as a a gamer that started into his journey of gaming back in the NES and Super Nintendo days, it's one that, I love them. I love these consoles. I play them to death. The TurboGrafx, this is actually the first console I ever had. I never had the original one, so playing this mini one where I could play some of these games that some of them I never even heard of before was a nice treat. It was a nice throwback and nice I guess discovering of some of these games that no idea were even around. Now, some of these you can get for fairly cheap. Some of them are pretty expensive. I looked online this morning, and I do believe some of the NES and SNES classics were into the triple digits for pricing. I think I saw one for like 150, 179, things of that nature. I don't think I would ever pay that much for it, especially because that's when you're getting into, you could almost buy a new system for that price versus one of these classic consoles, where I believe the SNES came out at 100 and the NES one came out at 70. But then you have the Genesis, the PlayStation, the TurboGrafx. TurboGrafx, I think, was the most expensive one I bought at it was at 99. But if you can find it for a reasonable price, again, I think if it's under $100, I do think it's worth it, especially the amount that you have ready at your fingertips, especially if you did play them as a kid or as a young adult. You'll get a lot of nostalgia factor out of it. You'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And there's a lot of those games that will take you a while. They're not just some of the simple ones that you pick up for a couple of minutes and you're done with it. So definitely an option. Again, don't pay a premium for it. If you really want a specific game, and it's maybe even 150 or under, then it might be worth it. But you should be able to find any of these systems for under $100, and definitely something that it's a nice package. It's a nice gift, especially for a kid that either has never experienced it, but they've seen some of the modern versions of it. If you have a Switch, if you have one of the older Nintendo consoles and you've been playing Mario and your kids have been playing Mario, it could be fun to go back and see what they, where it all got started, the origin of it. But again, another great option there. All right, and lastly, I want to talk about the Nintendo Switch. Now, if you've never seen it, never heard of it, it's a few years old now, but if you've never been interested in it, let's say you've stopped at the Wii or the Wii U, or you got the Wii U and it was a failure market-wise, and there was very little games for it, so you've kind of steered away from it, went to some of the other companies. Essentially, it's a great system, and it's a great time to get back into what they have to offer. Now, this system, it has a ton of games from all types. You've got horror games, you've got shooters, you've got RPGs, you've got platformers, you've got little kid games. I think there's even some horse riding simulation games, which I don't recommend, because if you look them up, they are terrible. But if you don't get anything else, if you can't get the new generation, you can't find a classic console, but you can get your hands on a Nintendo Switch, by all means, you get this console. There's so much to do on it. There's so much you can get. And in the event that you want to play some of these older Nintendo games, you want to play some of those older Super Nintendo games, you pay for the I think it's a yearly membership of $20 for the Switch Online service. You get access to the NES Online and the SNES Online games. And I believe they have more now than what are on the Super Nintendo Classic and the NES Classic. Not exactly the same games, but you have so many options. You have some old school stuff, you have some new school. You have the Nintendo eShop, which has, I mean, thousands of games. I believe there's probably hundreds of games that come out almost daily, if not weekly. So you have your basically pick of the crop with some of these games. I mean, I probably have maybe 20 games on here that I bought that were on sale for less than 10 cents almost. So there are some that have been hidden gems that have been really nice. So if nothing else, grab one of these, get a couple of games with it. These are some, well, custom Joy-Cons. I mean that, so you won't be able to find these just in a store. But there's a lot of customization options for it. The portability is really nice. I mean, it's a hybrid console. You have a docking station where you can just set it in, play it on your TV at 1080p, or just pick it up, take it up on the go. I mean, I played in handheld probably more than I do in a dock. So the accessibility and the variety you can't beat when it comes to Nintendo. I mean, you never have been able to, especially if you when you played the Wii. Even the Wii U had some good variety to it. The GameCube, the 64, whatever the case may be. The Switch, I would say, actually I will say, is probably their best console that I've ever had, and probably my favorite by far, just with the variety that you can get, the amount of games you can get with it, and obviously the portability is a really nice touch. All right, and that is going to do it for today. But let me know in the comment section down below if you were able to grab any of the new systems, if you've been able to find a classic system for relatively cheap, or if you have them. But also, what type of games are you planning on getting for the holidays? Are you trying to go for some of the new and the greatest? Are you trying to hit that nostalgia factor, get some of the oldies? Or you sticking with the Switch that has been a proven system and continues to do great, and I think is going to even stay at the forefront even amid the new consoles. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon down below, because it really helps out. I plan on trying to get to 50 subscribers by the end of this year. So if you could help me out with that, that would be great. And until the next time, I'll talk to you later.